This is a programmable wire take-up unit made specifically for very fine wires and filaments. It's a programmable system where you can store many recipes that describe the size of the spool you're winding onto, how much material you want to put on there, and the winding tension. The system uses a dancer-based tension feedback system to measure and control tension down to very low levels, lighter than 10 grams if necessary, and up to about 75 grams. We can also configure it for higher ranges if that's the requirement. It features a moving spool design using a 2-axis servo system to turn the spool and also carry it on a ball screw driven traversing unit, and all that information needed to have that move correctly is stored in the recipe for each spool. Right now we're winding with, you can see, 25 grams of tension, and I can change that anytime I want. I'll go down to 15 grams, and when I do, you'll see the dancer make an adjustment to make the correction. And I'll go down to 10 grams. And it does just fine. You can see here also on our run display we're showing our speed, a length, which right now we have a target set for 75 feet, which I've actually exceeded. And the system is designed for this customer to not stop when you hit that set point, but just to activate a flashing light. So I can reset that. Now the light stopped, it'll count back up again and activate that light when it reaches it, but it won't stop. It can be made to stop if needed. Another way or scenario where the machine is specially designed is one where you have material coming from a process and you need to get it connected to the spool on the fly without stopping the flow of material. So we've made special provisions in our programming and in our interface to allow you to do that. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you've done it a few times, it works pretty well. So I'm going to try to demonstrate that. I'll show you here in our interface. If I go to our settings screen, on the Fiber 1 screen, we have a speed entry, which is really what we consider a base speed, where this machine will turn at the speed entered, and it should be a number that corresponds to, as close as you can get it, to the speed of the incoming material. So it's very ideal if you know that speed as close as you can, and you can enter that as the base speed here on this screen. And then once you've got it connected up, you turn the control of the pull over to this unit, and it will wind it up based on tension control, not on speed. But at first you have to sync it up based on the speed. So I'm going to enter in here 15 feet per minute, and there's other entries in here as well, such as target length, the winding pitch, which is the spacing between each wind, and the diameter of the material. Then there are multiple other screens here, such as what tension you want to wind at. I'm going to turn it up right now to, let's say, 20 grams. You can get down to about 5 grams if you really needed to. This is the screen where you enter the dimensions of your take-up spool, and those numbers are correct for the spool that we have on here right now. And then the next screen is where you tell it what side of the take-up spool you first start winding on. Right now it's set to start on the front side of the spool. but it can also be in the back. That's just a toggle. You can go back and forth. These are some settings related to how quickly the system responds to an error in the tension and how quickly it makes an adjustment to maintain the tension. These are some jog settings. This is a homing screen, which the first thing you need to do when you turn the machine on is to home it, which I've already done. Layer increment is a setting you put in if you're winding on to either a flangeless spool or one with tapered flanges, and it allows you to enter a value where the layer will increment out either an additional amount per layer or increment inward if it's a flangeless spool, and that will prevent cascading over the edges of the spool. But I'm going to go back and then get to our run screen. And in order to use it in the mode that I mentioned, we're going to press our wind button, and you'll note that it will prompt me to reset our counter. But I'm not going to do that right now, because the moment I say yes or no to that, it'll start this turning, and I'm not quite ready to do that. So we'll leave it at that spot for the moment. So we'll go over to our supply material right now. I'm just using one of our OTT minis turned backwards, just to kind of motor the material. This is some bare fiber optic wire. I'm going to have it run off of here and then use it for my demonstration. So I'm going to start by having a piece of tape on the end of it already, ready to attach to my take-up spool. And I'm just going to give this a little bit of speed. Okay, so it's turning, and I try to get as close to 15 feet per minute, the same as this one. So I'm ready to get this going. You see it's going now. Let's get that on there. Did I get it? Okay. And so you can see I'm getting some slack here, which I can either speed it up right here on the screen to take up the slack very incrementally, small increments to speed it up or slow it down. But I'm going to take advantage of the slack and now string it up backwards through the wheels. Okay, that's on there. Need to go a little slower. This is a little too slack. So let that hopefully catch up. I lost my thread, but that's okay. But gonna I did that backwards. I wanted to go faster, not slower before. So let me speed it up. I want to take up the slack that's in there now that I have it on the wheels. You can focus on this area here. So you can see our dancer, its movements reflective of the tension, and you can also see the slack I have on my material. I'm going to speed it up some more. And the slack is starting to come out. If you focus there, you can see the loop that's getting tighter. And as soon as this gets caught up, I'm going to turn the tension control over to this by pushing the tension button. There it goes. So I push the tension button, and there you go. It's now winding based on tension control instead of trying to sync up the speed. If you see down here, our target tension is 20 grams, and this is our actual tension. There's 20 as well. That's why it's green. If I change our tension value, which I can do right here, I'm going to make that 10. You'll see our dancer will move accordingly. As soon as I hit go, you'll see the dancer move. It makes an adjustment. And you can see our actual value change to 10 grams. I'm going to go up to 20 again. You'll see the dancer move. Oops. Okay. So now if I speed up my supply material, you'll see the take-up will do whatever it has to maintain the right tension. So you can go over there and watch the spool over there.
This one?
It's going faster, yeah.
Okay.
And you see here on our screen, it's maintaining the 20 grams. I'll slow it down, you'll see it will still be 20 grams. It does whatever it has to. So that's how you hook up on the fly from a process.